everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it, Legends. Today, I finish off the utterly fantastic young adult series, Galaxy of Fear, by John Whitman. Now, if once I'm finished the entire EU, I'm probably gonna do like a top everything of every young adult series in the expanded universe, and this is probably gonna be really high up there, like in the top 5, because this series is so good for something that is just meant to be some Goosebumps knockoff, but in space. It does a really good job. I mean, there's some things that John Whitman is contractually obligated to do, like having the chapters on a cliffhanger, because that's what Goosebumps does. But oh my gosh, despite that little annoyance, it is so fun. These are so good, man. Like, these are more entertaining and fun to read than the last two Timothy Zahn novels, man. Like, they're so fun. They're so good. Anyway, I'm going to give you a brief summary of all the books in our catalog today. We have Galaxy of Fear, Book 7, Brain Spiders. Ooh. Basically, the kind of trend with the rest of the series is Zach and Tash and their Uncle Huel, the shapeshifter. They kind of just go somewhere and stuff happens to them. Whereas before, the first 6 books, there was kind of an overarching plot, even though each book still had a self-contained little story. These don't really have an overarching plot. They're just kind of Zach and Tash adventures. But basically, this one is at Jabba's palace, because they're on the run from the Empire ever since the events of the last 6 books, and so they want to, run away from that. So they go to Tatooine asking Jabba to help them out. Jabba ends up by the end not being able to really help them, so to go on their way. But while they're staying there, they learn about the Bomar, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, monks. This probably is brought up in the Tales from Jabba's Palace, but I haven't read that yet, so I don't know. But it talks about, and this is the first time I've actually heard about this, or maybe it was mentioned in passing in other novels, and I just don't remember. But the Bomar monks were the ones who created the palace on Tatooine. Also, for counting the Clone Wars TV show from 2008 in the movie, or they're trying to save Stinky. Hate to remember that, but there's another building, like on a rock. It's made by the same people. They believe in learning as much knowledge as possible. That's like their ultimate goal, is to just have as much knowledge as possible, right? And so once they've reached enlightenment, they transfer their brains into a jar, into a spider, and then they just kind of like keep contemplating life forever. And they're like apparently the only people that have been able to like transfer their mind into a jar and still retain their mind. They used to talk to Jabba and stuff, but Jabba got annoyed and said, like, the only way you're going to continue to live here is if once you're in those, those little spider bodies, you don't talk, you just think. And at the end of the day, like, you know what, that's what's most important to us anyway, so we'll just not talk. So they don't have any voice things on their suits. But yeah, they're like in the background or something of episode 6. You could kill them and ride them in the Lego version, but it was interesting. It was a lot of fun, actually, and I generally really enjoyed it. Moving on to Galaxy of Fear, Book 8, The Swarm. Basically, they go to this planet, and there's evil bugs. Ooh, Denning approaches. No, but for those of you who don't know the joke, it's because Dark Nest is a trilogy by Troy Denning, and it's filled with bugs. It's fine. The overall plot, I don't, is whatever. But the thing that makes you excited to read it is the guest star appearance in this particular book. I guess the guest star in the last book was Jabba, I guess. But the guest star in this book, are you ready? It's Captain Thrawn. That's right. Thrawn is in this book. Now, he's a bit more like his Heir to the Empire counterpart. Now, I mean, even in Heir to the Empire, I saw a lot of nuance with Thrawn's character, but it's clear as Zahn wrote more beyond the trilogy that he originally made, he tried to make Thrawn seem more of an anti-hero than a villain, whereas he comes off more villainous in his first appearance, which is just, it's still easy to swallow considering that, we know more about him, so we can understand why he's, acting the way he does in Heir to the Empire, even though he does come off more evil, I guess you could say. But he's still nuanced in that book, because I remember the scene where he talked about not, spending his men's lives recklessly. So, but that being said, he is a little bit more villainous here. But still, it's great to see Thrawn, and it was a wonderful little thing to add to this book, and it was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed his inclusion here. Moving forward, though, you think it's done? No, not even close. Book number 9, we have Spore. So this time we visit Ithor and we go to the planet. Now, the thing with the Ithorians, the Hammerheads, you might want to call them, though that seems a bit racist, is that the Ithorians don't actually live on their planet because they cherish the planet and the nature so much that they feel it's sacred ground, that they cannot step foot on it, right? So only like the priests and stuff go down there. But because people don't usually go down there, there's an ancient evil lurking from, I think, 400 years ago that is getting released now, and we need to stop it. And that threat, of course, is the spores, which are these, I guess the only analogous I have is the flood from Halo, though way less scary in terms of like taking over people and like having a hive mind and wanting to consume the entire galaxy. Will they succeed? Well, we have the entire expanded universe, so plus the movies, so no. Because Zack and Tash and Huel are here to stop them. But who's the guest star appearance in this book, you might say? Well, my friends, do you like Kyle Katarn? Do you like his video games? Well, let me tell you then that our guest star villain in this book is Jarek. Yes, the main antagonist of the Dark Forces 2 game is Jarek, and he is in this little young adult novel, and it's really cool to see him. Does he do a lot? No, but he's trying to work with the Spore, so because he doesn't want to work for the Emperor forever. He wants to be the Emperor, so he wants to use the Spores to kind of control everything, and yada, yada, yada. The point is we get to see Jarek again, and that was really cool. I apologize for being this, I don't know. I really love this series, so I'm very excited about it, to talk about it. Another interesting one that's, you got to be an EU fan to really care. I mean, I guess you have to be an EU fan to know about Jarek, but at the same time, a lot of people play the video games that don't read the expanded universe. So, anyway, so that one was more for the semi-normies. I'm just kidding. Everybody's a Star Wars fan. But the more kind of deep cut is the Ithorian female that we follow is the wife to the Ithorian from the Hammerhead's tale that we see in the Mos Eisley's Tales from Mos Eisley. So the guy that we follow in that book, his wife is in this one. So that's a really cool connection. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun too. Now we get to probably the weakest one, in my opinion, but I still had a lot of fun with it, which is Galaxy of Fear, number 10, the Doomsday Ship. Ever see 2001: A Space Odyssey? Or WALL-E? Then you get the plot of this book. I guessed it like 40 pages in, if that. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not going to say it in case you don't get it, but though the one cool thing to mention is the guest star appearance in this novel, which is another video game character. Shadows of the Empire, baby. Dash Rendar makes an appearance here. So that was really cool. The only minor contradiction, which I'm surprised was not corrected in post, is he's riding the Outrider, Dash Rendar. Or is it the Outrunner? Minor contradiction there. Now, there are ways to fix that. You know, he had a different ship at one time than another. He got a new ship later. But I think it was just a typo. Or he just misread it. So there's a minor... There you go, EU haters. You got your one. You got one of your ones. It's a wrong name. But other than that, you know, it was really fun to see him too. And it was cool to have a little cameo. Moving on to Galaxy of Fear, Book 11, Clones. Tash, Zach, Huel go to Dantooine. And on Dantooine is a hidden testing facility. And what's on this testing facility? Well, clones. Oh, except here's the thing. They can be created within mere days. What? How? That doesn't make sense with the prequels. Contradiction. Not necessarily. Now, yes, the comedians took like years to make clones. But they were very well made clones, first off, number one. Secondly, we know throughout the expanded universe, and I think even in the movies themselves, the Kamonians weren't the only ones to make clones. They were just one of the most popular ones to do so. There were many people trying to make clones, and this book takes place 20 years later. I don't know if you know this, but in 20 years, technology has advanced a lot just in our planet, in our real life days. So I could conceive that cloning has increased to make this. Is it smooth? No, not necessarily. You know, John Whitman just wanted to have clones because that's a popular sci-fi trope and people can use it for horror. That being said, one thing that is a problem for me is that they clone Darth Vader. And he has the Force. Now, it's not necessarily an issue because in The Force Unleashed 2, assuming that you accept that Galen is actually a clone, that he still has the Force. Now, if you go under the assumption that it's just Galen normal and he's being tricked into thinking that he's a clone, well then, you know, you're crapping the luck there. But I don't know. I mean, he gets defeated relatively easily, so that's fine. It's just like, I don't know. I don't have an issue with him. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, wouldn't the cloning people know that's Anakin Skywalker? I don't know if that would really matter. I mean, so what? It's not like, why would they go out of their way to tell our main characters that he's Anakin Skywalker? Like, what would that add for them? Right? Like, the only reason they would do that is for us to go, oh, now they know. There's no logical reason for that to happen. So, I mean, it makes sense that they never tell Tash or Zach or Huel that he's Anakin Skywalker. That's assuming they even know that's who he is. But, again, one of the weaker ones, I think, in this whole series. But it's not bad. It was entertaining. It's just, you know. Lastly, we move on to Galaxy of Fear, number 12, the finale, The Hunger. You know, this book is really dark. Let's just say it dives into some subject matter that, you know, Death Troopers did. But that was specifically a horror novel. And this is meant for, like, kids in middle school. It's pretty dark, you know? I mean, you understand what I mean when you read it, but it's pretty dark. That being said, the book ends, so you technically read like the last chapter right before Empire, possibly, because Darth Vader asks Boba Fett to go search for the Millennium Falcon. But I don't know if that's a contradiction with the movie itself, because don't they all go looking for Han with all the bounty hunters on the Star Destroyer at the same... I don't know about that. But that being said, Vader wants to stop those three, the freaking Tash and Zach and Huel, because, other than Luke Skywalker, they're the only ones that keep getting away from him. And he's like, I want them captured, Boba Fett, so you're going to do that for me. However, the location this time is Dagobah. So I bet you can imagine who makes the cameo this time, besides obviously Boba Fett and Darth Vader. This time, it's our boy, Yoda. And so, Tash, who's Force sensitive, she meets Yoda. And nothing really comes of that. Now, I can see people getting annoyed, like, well, Yoda's not supposed to meet anybody before Luke. Well, there's already an issue because he already met Starkiller, and he actually had, like, strong powers in the Force. But, with this book, Tash is nowhere near anytime soon going to be near, just without training alone, and the fact that she'd probably be an average Jedi. Somebody you'd see at the Jedi Temple in the prequels, but not one of the heroes of the Republic, like Obi-Wan Kenobi or Mace Windu or Anakin Skywalker, right? Like, she's got, I know Star Wars isn't about power levels like in Dragon Ball Z or anything, but she's not, top tier. She's, probably mid at her full potential. Though, of course, we don't really know the future of these characters, but the point is that I can understand, Yoda being like, no, first off, I'm waiting for someone, and you aren't going to be the one to stop Darth Vader and, Palpatine. So, no, your path is elsewhere, I must stay here. I am waiting for another student. And, that's, of course, Luke or Leia or whatever. So, that's that. It's really good to see Yoda because we've basically gotten nothing from him in the past 20 years other than Force Unleashed 2. So having him meet, a couple people in between his time, I don't mind. I like that we get to see Yoda because, we have episode 5, and then he dies in episode 6. And then if you count the ghost appearance of him in Heart of the Jedi, but, we had a lot of Yoda in the prequels. Not even a lot of Yoda in the prequels. He was just, around more, but as he's going to kick the bucket in a little bit, it's just nice to get a little bit more of him. But yeah, overall, oh my gosh, guys, this series, I didn't even really get into that big of spoilers, but this series, just chef's kiss. It's so good. It's such a good young adult series. I highly recommend it. And if you can find it either online or, don't spend like $50 on the entire set, but if you can find it for like $30 or $20, these books are worth it. They're a lot of fun, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it too. Lastly, I only have a little tiny mention here. Somebody was a really, really, really big fan of the Galaxy of Fear series. Rightfully so. And in the Hyperspace website, which no longer exists, but you can still find it relatively easily online, some guy decided to make a short story with the characters from Galaxy of Fear. It's not very good, but it is the Slave Pits of Lord. And it does have some nice EU connections, like it does mention the Ravicanists and stuff and all that, but it's okay. It was just somebody who was a big fan who wanted to include it. There's also not terrible, but it's very art, because it was literally somebody online making it. It was official, but it was I don't know. It wasn't that good, but that is technically the last story we have with these characters. I forget if they're mentioned in New Jedi Order or something, but we don't really have any stories with these characters moving forward. I would love to see, Quality Autism Noah, he's another YouTuber, he made a Jedi Prince conclusion. I would love for him to make stories with Ken Palpatine during New Jedi Order, with Tash and Zach coming back, maybe even Huel in his older age. I don't know. But I want to see more of these characters. I want to see Tash become a Jedi. I want to see what Zach would do as an adult too, because these characters were a lot of fun. I like them more than I expect to do, considering it was a young adult series and it was with brand new characters. But I like them, I care about them, and I want to see more of them. So whether the EU actually gets continued or it's upon the fans to make stuff, I hope to see more of Zack and Tash in the future. But as of now, officially, this is all we have. So until next time, guys, we're going to finish the rest of the Empire comics. And then the Rebellion comics, which is basically just Empire 2.0 comic, but whatever. And then we'll see where we go from there. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, sharing episode a ton, and remember, may the Force be with you.